Hey, what's up, Roxstars? It's Rox with a little bit of talk about what's at the top of the blog. So
my pen, rotating my stylus. Brokenness feeling like sin, now no breath, low dollar. Used to be left on red, now all the girls go high.
So last week, I told you guys that Kevin McCarthy was trying to gain the seat for the House of Representatives. You guys know he wanted to be the House Speaker. He has wanted to have that seat since he's been in office, I want to think, okay? Nancy Pelosi, who held that seat for many years, retired at the end of 2022. So that left the seat open. So as of last week, when I did my top of the blogs, Kevin McCarthy was 6 votes in and 6 votes down, okay? They would not put him in that seat. And every time they had a break, they would go and call people and have to make some concessions to try to gain to gain their support so that he can get that vote. And lo and behold, after 15 votes, your boy finally got the seat. Okay, and I'm gonna tell you, they gave it to him kicking and screaming. The folks did not want to put him in there. He had to, I don't know what he had to do to get this seat. It almost feels like he had to give up his firstborn child, because they was really not trying to budge. Tempers was flaring. People's patience was short. The Democrats was laughing. They thought it was hilarious. It was just a huge mess. Did you guys see when Mike Rogers, I think he's from Alabama, and Mike Gates, or Getz, however you say his last name, when they almost got into a fight right there on the floor? I was just like, really? Are you guys really about to do this? Now, apparently, Mike Rogers, is that his name? Mike Rogers, I think. Mike Rogers is some committee chairman. I don't know what committee it is. It's not really important to this story, but he is the chairman for that. Apparently, Gates, it looks like Kevin McCarthy may have promised Mike Gates that chairman position, because when they were coming down the aisle, Kevin McCarthy was talking to Gates. And apparently Mike Rogers saw Gates mouth to Kevin McCarthy committee. And so I guess Mike Rogers was feeling like, a nigga trying to take the back door and steal his job, So he actually lunged at Mark Getz because he was just so pissed. Like, really, are you trying to take that seat from right underneath me? When they got into the little scuffle, he had to be physically restrained, held back. It was fixing to go down, you guys. I had my popcorn. I was waiting to see. That man was so mad, and he told Mark Getz, or Gates. How you say his name, y'all? Only one person need to tell me. Actually, you don't need to tell me because it don't even matter. Okay. But he told Mark that I won't forget this. All right, so we don't know if Mike Rogers is ever going to be in a position that he's over Mark Gates, but child, let Mike Rogers tell it. He got it in for old Mark. But anyway, after the 15th vote, the folks finally voted the man in, and he is in. Okay, and he seems to be happy. I was just like, how does this work when even your own people don't support you? You guys are fighting, and folks are supposed to respect you enough as the House Speaker, I guess they'll do what they need to do, but still, just a fucking mess, you guys. Actually quite funny to see. So that's what we got going on in the House of Representatives, okay? I guess congratulations to Kevin McCarthy. We'll see how that goes. Let's talk about these classified documents that were found in President Biden's private office. Apparently, this is the office that he had after he was the vice president, back during his run when President Obama was in office. Okay. Apparently, his lawyers was going through some things in his office, and they noticed that there were 10 classified briefs that were in his office. Okay. And they immediately turned them over to the Department of Justice. And they are cooperating with the Department of Justice. But the question remains, which one of you motherfuckers did win put that damn, them briefs up in my damn president's office? I think it's very ironic that these briefs have shown up in his office all out the blue. It's just strange, you guys. I am very, like, I feel like somebody planted them damn things in his office. President Biden was not aware, that they were there. He was very shocked to hear that they were there. And, like I said, immediately lawyers turned over everything, and whatever the FBI or the, whoever is doing this damn investigation, the DOJ, he's going to work with them. This is not in comparison to WISAP's taking of the classified briefs, because one, WISAP had over 200 different files that was, some of them were even classified as top secret. He purposely took those, and he did not want to turn them over. Okay. When they realized that he had them, he did not want to give them back. It took a damn subpoena and for them to go and raid his home in order to get those files. So that is the difference. Some people will say that's not a big enough difference, Roxanne, because it's still, they still had the briefs and he shouldn't have had it. And I mean, I guess he shouldn't have, but it's just interesting that President Biden's former office, all these years, who been in the damn office since then? I mean, was it his office at home? I'm not really sure. But I mean, I guess. I just feel like they were planted. Maybe I've been watching too much damn Scandal. Okay. And so we'll see what comes of it. I don't know if any of those, if any of the classified briefs were considered top secret, but still classified as something that should just not be floating around willy-nilly outside of the archives of the White House. So, I mean, I understand that. And I know that this isn't really a good look, but 10 documents compared to 200, over 200. I mean, it is a little different. Okay. And really, what was WISAP going to do with them? I know people are saying that, they had a feeling that he was going to sell secrets to, the Russians or just the ops, like the young folks like to say, he's selling it out to the ops or whatever. But, I don't know what would be the reason for you to have these things. I mean, it seems like you could really just make copies of them, or do you have to be checked with the I don't know, child. Let me not be trying to give these people other ways to do shit that's illegal. But, so that's what's happening with the president's office, child. Just a little bit of everything. And then, you guys, let's talk about George Santos. Because for the life of me, I just can't understand. I just cannot understand. Now, George Santos was elected to represent the 3rd Congressional District of New York. Okay, back in November when we had midterm elections. Once he won the seat, it was quickly discovered that he lied about everything that was on his resume. Okay, he basically lied on his DICK. He basically lied on everything that would make him look more appealing to a voter. Made him, lied and said lied about everything, lied about his education, lied about the jobs that he's had, lied about any type of experience that he's had, volunteer things. I mean, he lied about everything. And based on those lies, the people put him in office. And now that we know that the man has lied, the people want him to resign. Okay. So far, there has still been a very small majority of Republicans who do not feel that he should resign. All right. Which right there ought to just tell you how the Republicans can be full of shit. Not can be. They are full of shit. It's a little different than you just lying and saying that you want a job so that you can work at McDonald's. Okay. This is a politician that would be in charge of a community. It's like, no, absolutely not. This is ethically wrong. And really, the shit should be illegal. It's the deception of the voters. And even though that's probably not a law, it should be. Okay? People are basing their votes on what you say that you can do. Nigga, if you've been working at Costco all this time and now all of a sudden you in charge of all... No. While there are many people in the House of Representatives that say that he should not be there, Republicans and Democrats alike, There's still, like I said, a majority, a very small majority that says no, he still deserves to be there. Now, what cracks me up is when the reporters catch up with Mr. Santos and are asking him, will he resign? He continues to say he's done nothing wrong. And I don't know. It's like something about, how old is this man? Because there's an entitled generation. I don't think he's as young. He's not as young as my kids are. But I'm telling you, my kids' age generation are quite entitled. And it feels like this man is a part of that damn group. Okay? Let me look up and see how old this motherfucker is here. How old is George Santos? 34 years old. He might as well be right in that same group in my damn kids' group age, child. That don't make no sense. Why is it that you don't think that you've done anything wrong and you have completely lied about everything? But he's been very, very bold, almost indignant when they ask him if he'll resign. He says, I will not. But just like the coward that Kevin McCarthy is, he has already made it clear that he's not going to comment on whether or not George Santos needs to resign. He says that he would leave that up to the voters. The whole thing is he just got in office a couple of months ago, and I'm assuming that his seat is going to last at least 2 years. So the voters won't have a chance to get at that man for another couple of years. So it's like, what are you talking about here? It's just, I'm telling you, the things that goes down in the politics today, child. It could have never happened if it was a black person. Never. But you already know that. There are Republicans that are pressing McCarthy to back up, the concerns and saying that McCarthy needs to back up them wanting to put the pressure on Santos to resign. But like one of the quotes that I read, it's probably impossible to shame the shameless. George Santos don't give a fuck. He is not ashamed at all. And like I said, he's actually very indignant that he will not resign. There have been many, many complaints that have called for his resignation, from the people that he's representing and also from fellow Republicans and politicians alike. And yeah, he said he ain't doing it, child. And he knows that there's nothing that's going to make him leave, especially if you have the support of a Speaker of the House. And, so I'm just like, it's just ridiculous, you guys. It's a damn shame. Now we looking into the congressman's financial history and seeing what we can find there. If the motherfucker been lying, because they said that he took a lot of the money that he ran for and used it for personal reasons. The money that he ran with and used it for personal reasons. So, I mean, maybe if they can dig up enough dirt on the man, that they can put him out. But it looked like it's not going. It looked like it may not even happen, you guys. And New York is going to be stuck with George Santos for a little while. Hell, if it's that easy, maybe I need to put in my bid. So let me see if I can tell you all the shit that he lied about on there. It says Santos admitted to lying about attending Baruch College and New York University, as well as misrepresenting his employment at Goldman Sachs, and Citigroup, but claimed he hadn't committed any crimes. Okay. They also say that he was charged with embezzlement in a Brazilian court in 2011. Court records show that in 2013, they could not serve him with a subpoena. Okay. It went unserved. And so that case just, I'm assuming either went, either was closed or, just one that's just sitting there. He's obviously not in Brazil. He's in the United States. So they weren't able to. Now he's denying that. Well, he's denying that he's been charged of anything. And yes, he hasn't been charged because they can't serve him the damn subpoena to go to court. They can't arrest him. They can't do any of that because he's not there. So yeah, a very slippery, slimy, slick snake. Okay. And, but that's how they do. I mean, I guess you got to commend the man for standing in this shit, huh? He was just like, I'm going to stand firm in this because, honey, y'all gave me the position and I'm here to work it. So, but yeah, child, a damn mess. That's it for politics, you guys. Let me move on to the rest of the gossip.
Now all the girls go follow. All the fake fans gon' pile up. I need peace to borrow. Get that shit right
back
back
to
to
guys, next story up. I saw on Carlos King's Instagram page yesterday that he said he was able to exclusively confirm that Phaedra Parks, of formerly of the Real Housewives of Atlanta fame, will now be joining the Married to Medicine cast here in Atlanta, the original cast, for their 10th season that is coming up. I thought they already had their 10th season, 10th or 11th, but I guess they're saying 10th season. And why is it that she will be on Married to Medicine? Well, apparently Phaedra Parks has wrangled in a doctor. Okay, now that she's dating this doctor, that qualifies her to be on Married to Medicine. Okay, now the people are saying that Real Housewives of Atlanta, well, Bravo had offered her to actually return to Real Housewives of Atlanta. They say that she was asking for an extremely high price to come on back, one that Real Housewives of Atlanta could not afford, because Real Housewives of Atlanta has Candy and Kenya, and they have all of these big names there now that they have to pay. Phaedra was not going to get what she was asking, but apparently what she was asking, the budget can handle it over at Married to Medicine. And so her and whoever her doctor man is will be over there. How do you guys feel about Phaedra being on that show? I think Phaedra will be fine, because Phaedra is, she's used to the reality show world, and, it's just, and she's here in Atlanta, and she's already friends with all of those people. Those folks all hang in the same circles, especially with her still being connected to Bravo. I don't think it'll be difficult for her as far as trying to get in and getting to know the people and everything. I mean, she probably knows everybody already. Okay. And I'm assuming also the black doctors here in Atlanta, they probably know of each other as well. So, I mean, I'm sure she can slide in that position easily. But do you guys think it'll be strange seeing her on the new franchise? I don't think so. And bravo to Phaedra for making sure that she hung around Bravo long enough to get back in. I mean, Phaedra has been working. We've seen her on Real Housewives of Dubai. She's a friend of one of the girls on there, so she's on that show a lot of times. We know that she still is very close with many of the housewives from Atlanta. And like I said, she's been around. She was at BravoCon, and I guess kind of teased that she was seeing a doctor, or that, she may end up on another show or something like that. So I guess it doesn't come real surprising, but Phaedra's been wanting to get back on somebody's show, and now she's there. I wonder who the doctor is, and if he's a black guy. Now, wasn't Phaedra on Marriage Boot Camp with some man? Am I getting that right? I think that she was, or maybe she wasn't. But I kind of feel like she was on Marriage Boot Camp with some guy. Is this the same doctor? Y'all let me know, because y'all know I don't watch that show. So I don't know that for a fact. But I kind of remember her being on something else. And I was shocked to know that she was on there, because I was just like, now that is a lower... I don't know why we think that Bravo's shows are higher caliber than VH1's. I mean, I guess they are, but yeah, so she, I was surprised that she was on that show. So, but now she has regained her position as a girlfriend of a doctor. So yeah, she'll be over there Married to Medicine. Ought to be very funny to see her working together with Dr. Heavenly and Quad. The shade that will be thrown around on that show is going to be monumental. No, I still am not going to be reviewing the show, you guys. It's just been too long. But I do know that there's going to be some good TV over there. And hopefully she doesn't come in as like a villain. You guys know how sometimes when you have all of these big egos together, especially after me just seeing the clips on Instagram of all of the drama and shit that Married to Medicine had last season, it's just going to be interesting to see how Phaedra slides in there, and who she is going to get along with and who she is not going to get along with. It's definitely going to be interesting, but hopefully she can come in there and just, it'll be just a shade fest and a bunch of laughter, and not just nothing that gets too toxic. because it also can go there. Okay, but yeah, that's y'all looking forward to seeing Miss Phaedra and her babies on Married to Medicine. And while we're talking about Phaedra, I guess because I just saw DJ Richie Sky was talking about how now that Apollo is married to the girl, I didn't realize that he was married, you know, would they possibly bring Apollo on to Real Housewives of Atlanta? I think that's what they were trying to do at one time. And I think Real Housewives of Atlanta was like, no. Okay. But people are still interested, I think, in Apollo and his wife, or at least Apollo. His wife will just come along for the ride. And DJ Richie Sky was talking about possibly having a Love and Marriage Atlanta, which would be, I think that would be good, you know. And he was talking about possibly having Apollo and his wife on there and asking who are the other couples that should be on there. I mean, there's so many couples here in Atlanta that could go on that show. I thought that Toya and her new husband could be good. I saw people talking about Shamari, not Shamari. What's the girl's name from, what's her name? Child, I can't think of it. Ronnie DeVoe and his wife. What's the child's name? Is it Shamari? I can't even think of it. But anyway, they would be a couple that could actually be on the show. But there's a lot of people here in Atlanta that I could see in that position. And I think that would be a really good show. So, what do you guys think? Y'all think that Love and Marriage Atlanta would be a good thing? You know, maybe Mel could come on over to Atlanta since she can't stand nobody over there in Huntsville. And remember, she wants to move to Atlanta. She even said that on one of her on one of the reunions that she actually wanted to move to Atlanta, but she couldn't because Martell was keeping her in Huntsville so that he can have access to the kids. But now that Martell looks like Martell is still seeing Sheree. He was at her birthday dinner, her New Year's Eve dinner that she had. So, I mean, it might be a win-win for everybody, Carlos. You know, maybe you need to put that down in your wish book and work on it. You know, let that be a goal that you work towards. I think that would actually be an interesting show. I think that actually would be a really good show. But yeah, you guys let me know who y'all think would be good couples on that show. That was from DJ Richie Sky today. And yeah, I think that would be a good idea. What about y'all?
Borrow somehow all the fans go bravo. Smile so much to hide my sorrows. Faith is shaky in vibrato.
You guys, next story up is actually an update story, one that I'm happy to report. The safety from Buffalo Bills, DamarHamlin. He has been discharged from the hospital in Buffalo, and he is going to continue to do rehabilitation in his hometown, which is like, I don't want to say it's a miracle because, you know, God is in charge of everything. But just the fact that last week I was talking about, you know, him collapsing on the field and how, you know, it looked so bad. He died a couple of times. They had to resuscitate him, you know, that he was really in a bad way just a week ago. Now they're saying that he is up, he's walking, he's talking. As a matter of fact, when his team played this past Monday Night Football, it was either Sunday or Monday night. You guys know I'm not no football girl. Okay, so give your girl a break. But the last game that they played, they actually he was actually live tweeting. Okay, he was actually getting excited, jumped up, you know, when a play that went well. I can't get my words together, you guys, because I had so much coffee this morning because work was fucking stressful. I got these people that stressing me the fuck out at work. They don't work with me, but these people that I'm working with. But anyway, so my coffee intake, my mouth is going faster than my brain and shit can keep up with. But anyway, they said that he jumped up and had all the monitors and shit going off when he was watching the game, you know, just excited to see his teammates, you know, not only playing well, but actually winning that game. So good for them. And good for Damar. You know, I just was so sad for his mom, you know, them kind of things. Like every time something like that happens to a child around my kid's age, it just automatically makes me put them you know, me into that situation, wondering how I would be, something I would never want to go through. So I'm happy for his mom and his dad and his family, and really his fans, and even for that team. I mean, that was just so traumatizing for so many people to see all them big grown ass men up there crying and just being so upset about what went down. I mean, it was just, you know, it's a beautiful ending to a story that could have ended so much more tragically, you know. So I'm just really happy. I'm really happy that he is doing well. So they transferred him to the Buffalo General Medical Center back on January 2nd. And I guess we'll just have to see if he returns back to playing football. I know that if I was his mom, I would not want him to return back to football. Right now, it seems like the Bills have left the door open and said that it would be up to him whether or not he wants to return. And although I know that boy probably has played his whole life playing football and always had the dreams of being an NFL star, and you know, I'm sure that this was a goal of his for a long time that finally came true, you know, that he was able to recognize and be in. But I mean, at the end of the day, you guys, our health needs to come first. And I would just hate for that man to be back out there on that field and something like that happens again. You know, the heart is tricky. He's young and he's healthy. And I mean, it was just a freak accident and everything, but I still don't feel like I would want to press the issue. Child, that Blue is barking his ass off. His friend is outside, so he wants to go and join them. Okay, but see, the problem with Blue is he don't know how to play with dogs. He want to fight them. Okay, he want to kill them. So you can't do that. Anyway, you guys, but back to the story. I'm just really happy. and I'm hoping that he continues to be successful in his rehabilitation. But I don't want him to play again. I know that's not my decision. He got enough money. I don't know if the Bills has like some kind of things in place to help when their, you know, players are taken out because of medical reasons, something as serious as this. But I mean, you know, he had that GoFundMe that he was asking for people to give money to charities that he was, before he got sick or anything. It had nothing to do with him. It was so that he can donate money to the charities. I think when he first got hurt, that thing had something like $8,000 in it, and I think it's probably up to about $7 or $8 million now. People were donating to that. I'm not sure if you're able to change the reasons that you got a GoFundMe. Like, would he be able to keep that money for himself, or does it have to go to what what was originally stated in the GoFundMe request? I don't know how that works, but I mean, he's got a good amount of money over there just waiting on GoFundMe that could take care of him. Nothing like probably what he would have made if he would have, you know, sustained a successful NFL career over the years. But I mean, sometimes you just got to take what you can get, you know? So I don't know, but I'm not a football head. I don't want the man to be out there and get sick again. But maybe you guys know better. I don't think anything like this has ever happened before. So nobody has anything to go off of and say, oh, well, such and such did it and they were okay, you know. So, I mean, what do you guys think, my football fans out there? Do you think that Mr. Hamlin will return to the game? Do you think that he should? I don't think he should.
I can't hold a frown too long. I can't stay down too long.
Now, these airports just can't get right? I mean, they just can't get right. And I know for a fact that all of my Rockstar airport employees out there is fucking over it, okay? Because when anything like this goes down at the airports, the people that bear the brunt of the frustrations of the passengers is the people that have to be face to face with these people at the airport. So my heart goes out to everybody at the airport, because I know tempers was flaring. I know people was really pissed. Now, just at Christmas time, we remember the shit that happened with Southwest and how they had to cancel flights because of the weather, but because of the antiquated system, in which they are still operating on, you know, they lost track of where people were and lost track of bags, you know, and just, it was a mess. People were stuck in the airports for days, couldn't get out. The weather was so bad. The rental cars were already rented out. Folks couldn't get where they needed to go, and this was all during the holiday time. Okay. People were stuck, and, you know, if they had a layover somewhere, they were stuck there. It was a mess. No hotel vouchers, because how do you give vouchers out to every damn body? Okay. So, it was a mess. They finally got that rectified, and barely, because Jada actually went to New York last weekend with some friends, and they lost on Southwest, and 2 of the girls' bags was lost. They finally was able to recover them. Turns out the bags never even left Atlanta, child. They was here. So they all was in New York for somebody's birthday and ended up having to buy clothes. Well, Jada didn't lose they didn't lose Jada's bag, but they lost some of the girls' bags. Then, just yesterday, we find out that they had grounded all of the flights everywhere because the FAA was having a problem with their system. Apparently, an engineer was tinkering around with the damn computer and pushed the wrong button. And so they couldn't really tell, I guess, who was in the air, who wasn't in the air, you know, all the calculations of whatever they need to do to make sure that, you know, the people that are in the air are safe enough distance. Whatever the FAA control people was doing, it got all messed up yesterday. So the system went down, and in order to get everything back online and to make sure that everybody was going to be safe, they had told everybody that no flights could leave until 9 in the morning. Now, the news came down at about 6:30 in the morning. The FAA had tweeted that they were working to restore the notice to air mission systems. That shit sound real serious. Who is in charge over there at the FAA? You know, we got homeboy over there, you know, dropping his coffee mug on the computer keyboard and messing it up for everybody. It's not funny, you guys, but it's just sort of like, what is going on with these airports? Okay? And I still want to know what the government is going to do about Southwest and all that shit that they pulled that week, that week of Christmas, and how people just wasn't getting compensated for their troubles. Yes, the government needs to be involved, because the government keeps on bailing out these fucking airlines, and then they do some shit like this. Like, no, there needs to be some checks and balances in there or something. So, honey, they was showing on the news yesterday morning, the people out here in Atlanta, how frustrated they was. And this one lady, she just looked at the reporter, just rolled her eyes and walked off. I was just like, I know you was over it, girl. But like I said, whoever gets it the worst is the employees there. It's like, because when people are mad, they gonna lash out at whoever they can get to. You know, so while we got the higher ups that's getting all of this shit, messing everything up, then you got the people that's on the front line that's, it's messed up. They was able to get the system back online. I don't think an official reason from the FAA has come out on why it happened. But, I'm about sick of this. I'm about sick of the airports and the airlines and all of that, just for the people, the paying customer, to be inconvenienced like this, like time and time again. It's very frustrating. And it's not like these tickets is cheap. Okay. The damn tickets are so high right now. I mean, just to fly to LA, $600. I used to be able to get that ticket round trip for $200 and something, so it's a mess. And I mean, if I'm going to be paying that kind of money, then I at least expect to be able to get on a damn plane and fly there, so the people was mad. I saw that yesterday, and I was like, thank God nobody I know that needed to be on the airlines yesterday. But they're going to have to do better than this.
Running from pain, running from strain, running from things, running from schemes.
All right, you guys, next story up. Diamond of the pro-Trump duo Diamond and Silk, mama named her Lynette Hardaway, has died. Before the lady had passed, we had a lot to say about Miss Diamond. All right. Out of respect for the dead, we won't even go there. So this is not going to be a long segment at all. But we know that Diamond and Silk was the aggravating duo that supported Sapp and all of his fool-a-fucking niggatry. There being their fool-a-fucking niggatry. and was very frustrating for Black people, especially to see, you know, Step and Fetch It up there. I said I wasn't going to say anything bad. YSAP, who said that her death was really bad news for the Republicans. He's so good with words, you guys. They said that the death was totally unexpected. Oh, you guys know what I just read here? That she actually was hospitalized with COVID-19 in November. So she could have very well died from complications from COVID. Apparently, she was married, but can't really find any information on her husband. I don't know if she's had any children, but I'm sure she leaves many loved ones, family and friends alike behind. She was 51 years old. Rest in peace to Lynette Hardaway, also known as Diamond of Diamond and Silk.
I can't hold a frown too long.